There are two times when listings you could have had get lost. In other words, you don't get the listing. And the first time is on the phone. And the second time is when you get to pricing on your presentation. So on the phone, the most common reason we lose a listing is because we answer questions prematurely, before you've even seen the house, before you've done your research. So what if they ask you on the phone, well, what do you think it's worth? What do you think we could get for our house? Well, the answer is, gee, I don't know. I haven't seen your house yet. In fact, until I do my research and until I do a full inspection, anything I say at this point would be guesswork. And I'm sure that's not what you want, is it? So don't answer questions on the phone. Set it aside until you've at least seen the house and had your chance to do your research. Now, we're assuming that before you go on the appointment, you do ask them what they want to get for their house, or what they think it will sell for, or what they think it's worth, however you want to phrase that question. Because that sometimes will inform the type of research that you do. And it will also let you know what you're in for when it comes to pricing. And we're also assuming that you do pricing at the right point in time during your presentation. In other words, you get there and you set the table. You get an agenda on the table and that everyone agrees to. Here's what we're going to do tonight together. And then you ask all the questions you need to ask to get a really clear picture of what their history is, their expectations are, their experience is, what their plans are, their hopes and dreams and wishes. Get all of that out. And while you're getting all of that out, one of the questions you always ask is, how did you arrive at your price? The one you told me on the phone. In other words, was it by word of mouth? Is it experience, done research on the internet? Or maybe even talk to other real estate agents and they've shipped comps off to you or emailed them to you. Yeah, you want to know that. And then you get up and look at the house. And then you come back to the kitchen table or wherever you're doing your presentation and you sell them on you and your company and your marketing plan, to the point where you can ask the question, hey, what if we could agree on a price? Would there be anything preventing you from going ahead and letting me handle your listing? A trial close. And let's say they told you on the phone they think they should get about $800 for their house. And you do your research and it shows, $800 is probable. They've got a good shot at getting $800. And your judgment and history and experience tells you that. So what do you say to them at that point? What does your presentation consist of? Taking out comps and confusing them? No, it consists of this. So you told me you're thinking 800. Now that I've seen everything and done the research, the data agrees with you, and I do too. I think we should take a look at what 800 would net you and see if you can live with that. Fair enough? And then go right to your net sheet. Or let's say they're close, within a few percent, no more than 10. They're thinking 850 and maybe 800 is the best they're going to do. What if you knew for a fact that 800 is the best you could do? And I could prove it to you. I'm not asking you if you'd be thrilled, but would you take 800 if you could get it? Because let me suggest this. Let's take a look at what 800 would net you and see if you can live with that. See if that makes it possible for you to go through with your plans. In other words, convert to net ASAP, as soon as possible. And most of the time, when you agree with them, or you disagree just a little bit, you're not going to have to go through a real confusing, lengthy data presentation with all kinds of stuff that's just going to confuse them. Yes, you've done your research. Yes, you've been thorough. Yes, you're proud of it, and you should be. But sometimes you don't even need to show it to them to get it listed at the sale price. And that's really the key. List it at the sale price. Now, in those rare occasions when your price and your research and what they told you they think they can get for it is widely different, well, then you need some good old technique. And that's the subject for another video. But for now, remember, if you don't want to lose listings, then don't answer their questions on the phone. And when your price and their price agree, go to net as soon as possible. And I think you'll lose fewer. And that's probably the way to get more. Lose fewer. You with me?